All right, so this video is going to take a different turn than I originally thought when I started filming it. I thought I was going to do viewer mail and then throw in some stuff other than that, but I think I'll just do a viewer mail all by itself. So I'll explain the footage we're going to see right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man, and you are now going to see footage that I shot. It's been a couple days ago now. I went to an auction and acquired some treasures, so I'll let you take a look at that, and then we'll go on to something else. Oh, Buddy the dog. Yeah, you're gonna come see what we got from the auction too, huh? My plan is to put this footage in a viewer mail video, so hopefully that's what happened. But I went to an auction today. Again, friend is an auctioneer. That's where I bought that tractor on an online auction he had. And then he had an auction today where there was some stuff. I actually went because there was another tractor. There was a B Alice Chalmers that was partially in pieces. And I didn't end up buying it. It brought $750, and I didn't feel it was worth that. I think I could find one that was running for $500 or $600, because this one, the gas tank was rotted out all the way around and whatever, so didn't end up buying it. But the second thing I went for was pumps, because for my engine trailer, I've got several engines with pump jacks, but I never had enough pumps. So this guy had several. This one is all apart, but we can fix that. We can make it not all apart. All they have to do is be able to be bolted down, and me be able to make this rod go up and down, so there's something to look at. You know, getting them to actually pump water is a chore for another time, a long time from now. This one, unfortunately, it looks like they broke it moving it for the sale or something, but it still will do what I want. And he's already got it cobbled up. This is actually not, if this is really the windmill rod, it's upside down, I believe, because what they did is he just made it so the handle would kind of stay in there, but really that would be screwed onto the rod that goes down to your pump cylinder down in the well, I believe, because your windmill rod would be the square part, would hook in. So that one's just like it is. It's fairly complete. The old guy must have had them buried in the yard part way, but we can work with that. They normally bring at a show like $150 to $200 a piece. I think I gave this one, of course I didn't get to look it over as close as I'd like. I think I gave $120 or so for that one, and then I gave like $35 for that one. So you average them out between each other, and I don't have maybe 60 bucks a piece in them or whatever, you know, 75, and that's a doable number. Because like I said, they do get pricey, especially if they're a unique brand or a name brand, I'd say, like Bakers and things like that. Dempster, the windmill brand pumps usually bring more, but whatever. Then they had this and couldn't hardly get a bid on, so I bought it, because I'm thinking that this might be an Alice Chalmers plow that might fit that C that I bought. It has orange paint on it, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. That looks kind of homemade-ish on some of that, but I need to figure out what it is, and if it really is an Alice Chalmers plow, then we can slap it on that little tractor, you know, and have something to look at. So yeah. Now we need to unpack the other stuff. Like I said, I really only went for these pumps and that tractor, but of course, like usual, I end up buying a whole bunch more stuff, and I need to show it to you on camera now so I can put it away right away so it's not laying all over. But I bought some tools and things, and we'll take a look, because I don't even know what I all got. I just bought it from a distance, you know, by the flat, so we'll see. First up on our list is not Buddy the dog. I already own him. But it's this gigantic snap-on torque wrench. And I thought it was kind of cool. and I gave $15 for it. So Snap-on collectors can tell me whether that was a good deal or not. I'm pretty sure that came from Cummins, and a lot of the old Cummins employees had one. So whatever, I think it's worth 15 bucks just because it's cool. Now we'll dig out all the flats. I kind of consolidated them so that I could carry them easier. So I guess we'll lay them on the hood of the truck and look through them, because like I said, I don't even really know what I got. All right, I got them laid out here. Some of this was good buys. I dumped another flat in here, but I believe there to be a fairly complete set of Williams wrenches here, made in USA. I guess we could dive into that right now and see. And what I like about them is they're kind of longer, so sometimes you need that, you know. Sometimes you need a few inches more. Okay, we're gonna run out of room quickly here. There's one, there's one, there's one. There's one, there's one. Is that all of them? Okay. 1.25 inches, 1 1/8, 1 1/16, inch, 15/16, 7/8. Then what would be next? This one, 25/32. I don't know that I have a wrench that size, but I do now. There's a 3/4. 19/32. There's an 11/16. That is one, but it's very, very rusty. What is it? 9/16. That's a 9/16. You can never have too many 9/16. There's a 5/16. So, a fairly complete set, not all of them, but I might even try to eBay the missing ones and have a complete set of those. So there's that. Then these miscellany wrenches and stuff like this. We'll save screwdriver for a minute. I like to buy these if you can get them cheap at an auction, and then throw them in a tractor toolbox, because if you lose them, you ain't out much. So that's what will become of these. They will become tractor toolbox wrenches. This might become something more special than that, I don't know. Grinding wheel, I'm sure I can use those on something. Wasn't really worried about that. This box is actually 2 boxes I poured together. I don't really care about these. I bought it for this. I've got one of these and I really like it, so I thought, hey, a second one, that's great. And then this box was old tools. I've got a whole collection of old wrenches and stuff. That's a John Deere, I was gonna say. Yeah, that's a John Deere. You can tell a John Deere. You can always tell a John Deere. They smell like a John. But at any rate, I think I gave like $3 maybe a flat for some of this stuff, so I didn't feel I was out. No more than 15 on any of these, so I think I'm in pretty good shape. This had all kinds of pliers in it, and it seems like I'm always hunting for pliers, so I'm gonna divide this all up amongst the different places I have tools around here and see whatever. This flat I didn't really care for, but I wanted these wire brushes. I think I gave $1 for it and got these drill bits. That's a masonry bit, but that will cut hardened steel, believe it or not. You don't believe me? I've done it a bunch. And you'll actually see vendors like at fairs and stuff showing the magical drill bits that drill through anything. Well, they're masonry bits because they got carbide inserts. So there's a step bit. Those are super expensive. So I'm not out anything. Those brace bits I'll probably put with the antique tools because I've got several of those. Then these I wanted just because screwdrivers, friends. I'm always hunting for screwdrivers too. And I've got a rack down there in the one shed, and it's always empty, and it's not going to be now. I'm going to fill it up with these screwdrivers so that there's always screwdrivers handy. Some of them are actually name brand. There's an Ace Hardware. There's a few Craftsman in different things. I want to say I gave $12 a box for these, and I didn't feel that that was too bad. I mean, like I said, a few Craftsman here and there, and then pocket screwdriver, that's worth its weight in gold. I love those. That's actually bigger, but you know what I'm saying. There's a little pocket one. And there's the kind I like. The Craftsman with that style clip. Can't hardly get those anymore. Big Craftsman. So nothing super duper valuable. There's one of these we had for a long time. I think our Rural Electric gave us one once. That was super handy. But I don't know. I mean, nothing super valuable, but definitely handy to have around, because there's always times when you need stuff, you know? So that's my plan, is to kind of divvy this up around here amongst different things. Some of it will probably go in the service truck. Some of it will probably go, who knows where, tractor toolboxes. Just different things and stuff and places. But I wanted to film it so that I could now put it away without worrying about, you know, did I remember to film it or not? So, pretty neat. All right, so after filming that, then of course I had time to do some research, and this is in fact a plow that would fit an Alice Chalmers like what I've got. And I think it's gonna work. We need to get that tractor put back together, and we need to figure out how it hooks to the front underneath, but I think that our tractor has most of the stuff we need to make this happen. So that was a pretty good little purchase, I believe. Now, then the next day after that, if I'm getting my timeline right, because it's all a blur, the next day after that would have been a Sunday, which I think was yesterday. Time is moving fast. I finally had time. I reached out to a guy on the internet. I saw him Facebook Marketplace. He was parting out a tractor, and he had something I needed. And this was weeks ago, and it's just I've never had time to get over there. So yesterday I said, I'm coming today. I'll be there. It took about 2 hours to get there. So I'll show you what I got. Now there's something else in the pickup too, along with all the other crap, but I don't want to give that away yet. But here we have a narrow front off of a 1600. And I have a 1600 that has that cobbled up wide front on it. We've never done anything with the tractor yet, and I want to put a tricycle on it. So here we go. The price was right. He took it off. I went down there, loaded it up. We talked for a while. Super nice guy. I think he was younger than me. And anyway, he had another tractor in there we went and looked at. Just, he was having carburetor problems, and I told him what I thought, you know, he should do or where he should get parts. So that's good. Well then, probably about a week ago or so, I had another viewer reach out to me, and he had something I needed too. He said, hey, did you ever find a left-hand planter bracket for that marker thing? And I said, no. I said, I found a right-hand one off the internet, and I bought it, and it's in the mail somewhere whenever it gets here. I was thinking maybe I'd just make do and make it work somehow. Well, he said, I got one for left-hand, and the price is right. So instead of coming back home, I took like a triangle-shaped jog, you know, and drove cut over to where he lived and made a day out of it. And turns out that's exactly what I needed. I was getting kind of frustrated with everything and stressed, and just driving around through the countryside looking at stuff was pretty nice and relaxing. I saw tractors along the way on the side of the road, you know, and that's kind of neat. And then last night I was looking on Marketplace, and I saw some of those tractors, so now I know where they are, you know. It's just interesting. But yeah, so here is our bracket, and a bent piece of a marker, but that's no big deal because that other viewer gave us the markers. And what happened was they had a parts planter and a tree fell on it in the woods. So some of the welds probably need a little bit of touching up here, but it's got the stuff we need, friends. We needed this bracket, and we needed this piece here, and it's even got the pin. I'm just gonna have to probably heat some stuff to get it out of there, it looks like, because it's not, I would say that some of that stuff ain't doing the thing anymore. So that's pretty sweet. And that was a fun place to visit. He had, I think, more flat top fendered 770s than I've ever seen in one place. And one of them was a diesel, and that is very unusual to see a flat top fendered diesel, at least around here. So that was pretty neat meeting him and brother and things. And there was another guy there I didn't really get, I don't think I put the pieces together, if that was another brother or friend, I don't know. But anyway, they were all nice guys, and looked at his tractors he had there at his house. He had a 1365 front wheel assist, which I thought was super cool. He said he found just down the road from him, and that's something you don't really see down around these parts much either. And he had another tractor he just bought sitting in there, and I thought, hey, that looks kind of familiar. And he said, do you remember seeing on that auction a few weeks ago this 2105 with a cab? And I sure did. And so that was interesting to see that he was the one who ended up with that. And he had some of this rust dissolver gel, you know, that Rust-Oleum makes. I've used it on wheels and stuff, and I've wanted to play with it more. That Oliver guy has used it on like the 1750 and really brought that back around. Well, he tried it on that white, and it took all the rust out of that silver paint and made it look like new. So I'm a believer in that stuff too. But anyway, we got us some new parts now, new to us parts, and hopefully we can continue on some of our projects. And I think what I'm going to do right now is we're going to drive this marker down, and we're going to try to heat those pins and get the pins out of the bracket, and we can test fit the bracket on the planter, and then figure out what we got to do welding wise and make sure that everything's going to be the way that it is, and we can go from there. We also need to get that planter emptied out and put away, you know, take the plates off and all that. So that's also on our agenda to do. I need to go get my 1755. I wish it was over here, but it's over at Dad's, so I need to get a ride and do that one of these times here. So, but I'm getting sidetracked. Let's stick with the project at hand, which is planter bracketry. All right, when in doubt, burn it out. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna heat up some stuff. In theory, I'm gonna heat up some stuff. Well, there we go. Okay, we're struggling. The torch is not cooperating, but that's not what I was gonna say. The pin is stuck in here, and then this pin is stuck in the remainder of the clevis that's holding everything, or that used to be the cylinder is what I'm saying. So I'm going to have to heat different things. This pin is stuck, or cotter pin is stuck in here. We'll just heat some stuff randomly and see if we can make anything happen. I see looking at this bracket that we're going to have our work cut out for us because it is bent down slightly. But we can make this happen. We need to try to get some of this stuff out of here. And how do we want to do that? Well, struggle bud, but I got something better than the vice grip. I got red pliers. Yeah. Well, we're going to inevitably throw this off of the truck. I can see that now. It's just not wanting to play ball. Whoop. There we go. I knew it was coming. Oh. Come on out of there. We're going to take this cast bracket off, and then I think I'm going to take it to the big press in town and see about pushing on this bracket a little, trying to make it a little bit more bracket shaped like it should be. And of course the orange hammer isn't here, so there we go. Hot. Yep, that's what it is. That's burning hot. Right. Spare clevis. That's something. This is going to have to be, I need a new spring for that, as the spring that I have here is severely not itself anymore. How hot is this? Well, what I wanted to see, and I'm not sure of, I think that just is, I don't think that ever had a pin in the end of it. I think that that's all she wrote there. Now, let's get the impact and get that cast bracket off. There's one. Yep, that one's gonna turn. Should have known. That one's gonna turn. Round and round she goes. Round and round she goes. One. Well, it's coming along. Sweet. Should have taken the, yeah, I should have taken this other pin out first because it's in the way now. But it's fine. We got it anyway. It's still burning hot, you see. All right. Now, we have to try to see if we can get this out. Which I knew probably wouldn't. We wouldn't do it easy. Let me get a good punch. Did I say good punch? I mean, let me get a substandard punch, because that's what I got. It's gonna work great. There, we moved it. Use this one that's bent instead of doing it the right way. Sure. gonna struggle the whole time? Yep. We are. I mean, would it really be any fun if you didn't break one punch? And we're so close. We are so close. Pull out of there. I don't want to break it off. I want it to pull out of there. There. Oh, jeez. Well, canoe. I think that that one is loose in there, but I think that this one is still stuck. All right, we got that demounted with only a minor struggle. I had to torch that pin because I guess with the bend in it and it being rusty and probably mushroomed over on the end, it wasn't helping. But this piece, we need to, I don't know if that'll show up on camera, but it's got a little bit of a whoop-de-woo in it. So we're gonna take it to town to the press and see if I can't smash it flat. And then from there, we'll have to just see what becomes of it. I mean, I don't see any reason why I couldn't get this back in order like it should be. I'm looking at that pulled away there. Not really sure what took place there. You know, that looks like it was pulled out of there, but then again, it's kind of a weird pattern. Was it pulled over this lately, or was that always like that for years and years and years? But this piece definitely has a ripple in it. So if I could smash it flat again, then we can start from there. And I should have absolutely everything now to put it back together, minus maybe this spring that we're gonna have to figure out if it exists and our plan of attack for that. But I am super pumped. I mean, we have the hardest piece to find in the earth. I mean, that thing is not to be had anywhere else. I've looked all over. You can find some of the opposite side, but not that one. And like they said, the opposite side one on the parts planter was excellent on their planter, but the one I needed had the tree fall on it, so that's about right. But we are going to, I guess, leave this one here, and then I'll bring you back another time with this project whenever I'm ready to slap her together. I'll get some hardware and whatever stuff I need, and we'll try to make this happen. So maybe this was an interesting video, but it's a video where I made some progress. So sure, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.